everybody, and welcome to another wonderful episode of Culture in Maine. I am your fearless host, Carla Christopher. And before we get started on anything else, if you have not done so, don't miss another moment or another episode of Culture in Maine. Please go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Culture in Maine, or go to our YouTube page at youtube.com/White Rose Community TV and find the playlist for Culture in Maine, or find us at WRCT.TV. Check out Channel 18 show profiles and view our website, or follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/Culture and Maine. You can also always email us, cultureinmaine@gmail.com. Let us know what you'd like to see. Let us know what you thought was cool, what you thought was not so great. We want to know. This is your show. And this week, we have a really special episode for you. It's a theme episode because I love those. And this one is about artists of faith. Different denominations, but all artists who got involved through art via their church. They do wonderful, inspiring, inspirational, really true and genuine art. And the art is second to the message. So I'd like you to enjoy checking out Spoken Word by James Axel. And then we have hip hop, inspirational hip hop by Lady Badia. We have music by the fabulous band, the duo Sweet Life. And then we also have poetry by St. Mary's professor Dana Sowers. Now, everything from Baptist to Catholic, but they all come from the same place, that of genuine heart. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode, Artists of Faith.
Culture in Maine.
It is a place where the truth should be carried.
The arts and music scene really shows what people are about.
Share what's going on here in York.
Makes you feel like a family.
Local art has a face that most people can relate to.
Our community up here that sticks together.
Art is art.
Great potential with great artists, poets, singers, writers, directors, filmmakers. It's fantastic. Everyone has a story to tell.
That moment, you have to capture that moment and share it with the rest of the world.
Showing something that maybe is not been seen before.
Without art, I am art. I've been art since I was born.
It really adds a great deal to our community.
You don't really need art to exist, but you need art to live.
Culture in Maine is important, and I think playing out is important, and playing open mics and playing wherever you can play.
It's all about us all checking in with each other.
This first poem I'm going to do is called Mahogany Tears. A young black child mistakenly links his self-worth to having the latest pair of bronze on his feet. See, no one ever told him that his bronze feet were the same color as Jesus and that he was made in God's image. So he hustles for sneakers that cost around $18 to make, which makes very little sense because his sense of accomplishment is diminished the minute the sneakers get their first blemish or a fresher pair come out. Unfortunately, he doesn't know that 1 out of every 3 black boys born in America today can expect to go to jail at some point in their life, and that America is unconcerned with his plight because him going to prison is big business. If you don't believe me, just ask Bob Barker. He sells prison supplies. We sell our soul to be fly, and the price is right on the toe tag of a drug addict that overdosed. I think it's safe to say that apart from grace, both of their fates will be dissected in this rat race. Unwilling participants in the science projects, where drugs are permitted to flood the streets, and the music videos and TV programs program Shorty into thinking that there's no future for him without crack in it. Seems to me, our melting pot has a crack in it. And perhaps it would be sealed if he knew about Bobby Seale or Huey P. What if you taught him that revolutionary and terrorist are not synonymous terms, and that the skills that he learned on the block are transferable? But I guess therein lies the problem. You see, he's been conditioned to think more like Bumpy Johnson instead of Robert Johnson. And at the same time, there's a young black rose who's beginning to wilt. You see, her issues stem from being planted in an apartheid public school system. Will you please share with her the wisdom of Dr. Maya Angelou? Another black rose who rose from the ashes of sexism and segregation to release a fragrance of empowerment to a future generation of queens who were created to stand out, but at times they simply fit in. because the mainstream media has offered them an image of beauty that they do not recognize when they stand in front of the mirror. So will you lovingly gaze into her eyes and remind her that she is fearfully and wonderfully made, and that she should never, ever resent the shade of her skin, nor strive to be overly thin, because every day her physical frame proudly displays that she is God's masterpiece. Her feet blaze the trail of freedom across the Underground Railroad, igniting hope in the souls of slaves, and her statuesque legs leap the tall hurdles of polio and other childhood afflictions to become the fastest woman alive. Her womb brought forth pharaohs and kings, and every day her shoulders shoulder the heavy burden of being both the mother and the father of her home. Make no mistake about it, she is the backbone of the Black family, and her eyelashes are royal drapes concealing the window to her soul, and every lock of hair is a jewel in her crown. She just needs you around every now and then to remind her of that. So will you please be the one to teach our daughters that they are not baby mamas or video vixens? Rather, she is a princess on her way to becoming a queen. And will you please be the one to teach our sons that he is not a thug or a pimp? Rather, he is a prince on his way to becoming a king. As a matter of fact, he is what the field slave used to dream about. And God did not bring us out of over 400 years of bondage to be enslaved to this concept of hypermasculinity. No, we are free, free to love our maker, free to love our neighbor, free to love our brothers and sisters. So brothers and sisters, never forget the sacrifice of our ancestors who purchased our present with their blood, sweat, and tears. And because we were their future and they are our past, we are one. So I pray that gratitude will always fill your heart, because their courage gives us the strength to play our part. All right, and this final piece I'm going to do is called Joyride. This one is a little bit fun. Definitely for those car lovers out there. So just, follow the wordplay on this one. Come with me on a joyride as we cruise down Route 66. Each book revealing more of God's perfect will. So fasten your Bible belts, place both hands on the steering wheel, then we'll begin our excursion in the book of Genesis. In the beginning, there was one God who revealed himself as three co-eternal beings, all of them on one accord, forming everything that exists, even the planets Saturn and Mercury. And one day, this omnipotent God shifted his focus toward Earth. His first work was to eclipse darkness and provide light. Next, he made the sea bring itself under the firmament that he created so that the waters from the heavens and earth would be totally separated. Day 3, he gathered the waters together, and the dry land he called earth. Then from the dirt, he made plants that have leaves, fruits and veggies bearing seeds, and tall, elegant sequoia trees. On day 4, he used the sun, moon, and stars for various reasons like time, seasons, even the spring and fall equinox. On day 5, he made birds that fly through the air. And for any explorers out there on an aquatic odyssey, you're sure to find various kinds of reptiles and fish in the Indian, Arctic, Atlantic, Antarctica, and Pacifica Ocean. On the 6th day of creation, this amazing God made creeping insects like spiders and beetles. Then he moved on to more regal animals like impalas, mustangs, and jaguars. And finally, he made mankind in his image. Now, you could sort of say that Adam was a trailblazer because he represented all of mankind, and this Land Cruiser was given authority over everything that God had made. But God told him, be fruitful and multiply. But in order to comply, God caused Adam to fall into a very deep sleep. And after about 350 Z's, he woke up and there was Eve. And I personally believe that's when the first spoken word took place. Adam got up in Eve's face and said something to this effect. He was like, baby, you are flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone. And God commanded for the two of us to become one. And since he is the navigator of our expedition, there needs to be some sort of fusion taking place. I mean, look around. We can't afford to be linking up with just anything. Now, can you dig it, baby? And finally, God decided to pump the brakes on the 7th day and bless the Sabbath. And there you have it. Adam and his gorgeous escort Eve enjoying God in his creation. But there was one stipulation. There was a tree of knowledge of good and evil, and God told them, do not eat the fruit. Now, there was no barbed wire barricades, no flashing neon signs, just a warning that in the day they disobeyed, God's wrath would come crashing down like an avalanche, and they would not live for infinity. Obedience is the key. You would think that warning would have been enough. But one day, this serpent came talking that stuff to Eve, and he was like, girl, what you mean you can't eat from that tree? Don't act you're a legend, and God is blocking your liberty, and in the day you eat from that tree, you will not surely perish. Now, I really wish Eve would have cherished the word of the Lord and dodged that viper, but he had gassed her up so much that she became deceived and ate from the tree. Next, she gave it to Adam, who was way too cavalier, and he also bit into the fruit. And instantly, they both knew that they were naked, and so they tried to make clothes. Their first gear consisted of leaves, and when they heard the Lord coming, they said, yo, we gotta leave. But there was no escape, and that's when the first failed inspection took place. You see, the general made them all state while they had blew it. I mean, his instructions were so simple that even a caveman could do it. And since the serpent influenced Eve to try to be more progressive and ruin the flow, he told him, on your belly you shall go, and while you're down there, eat dirt. Next, he told Eve, when you have kids, it's really, really gonna hurt. You might even sob, and your license to drive this relationship has been revoked. And finally, to Adam, he turned his attention and was like, dude, why didn't you listen? You allowed the transmission to start slipping and broke down my commandment into some sort of suggestion. See, you were in the middle of perfection. Now you go out back and brave this new frontier. Your legacy will be a Land Rover that works by the sweat of his brow. Because of you, now the earth has been cursed. But before I go any further, allow me to put this poem into reverse, because God is not some heartless titan or merely a cosmic avenger. As a matter of fact, if I remember correctly, in the owner's manual, we get a glimpse of Emmanuel in Genesis 3:15. And a few verses later, his compassion is seen because he made Adam and Eve new clothes. Their second gear consisted of animal skins, because when mankind sins, something or someone has to die. And years later, you can hear the cry of John the Baptist in the wilderness, preparing the hearts of women and men for him. Now, John was a wild dude. He ate locusts and honey. I guess that you could say he was a rugged forerunner who was eventually decapitated. His head ended up on a charger, but none of that stopped Jesus from following the Father. He taught about the kingdom and performed miraculous feats. And one day, a woman came wiping his feet with her hair and tears, and he was like, woman, be of good cheer. Your faith has saved you. You can now go in peace. Now, you can read that story in its entirety in Luke 7:50. And if I try to tell you about all of Jesus' good deeds, I would be here for a century. Matter of fact, a millennia, because he's on a higher caliber. He defeated Satan, sin, in the grave. He has no known challengers. So make Christ the Lord of your life. And once you become his protege, it is your civic responsibility to spread the good news in every town and country, from Malibu to the Yukon, whether you are a city dweller or a suburban person. Christ died for all races: black, white, Asian, Hispanic, and Grand Cherokees. And contrary to popular belief, your good deeds or charitable fees will not get you in, because sin takes its toll, and only Christ could bridge the gap between God and man that Adam created when he decided to be his own pathfinder. So this is just a reminder that God wants you to be his trooper, and the Holy Spirit will give you the edge to spread the gospel when people are indifferent, hostile, or act just plain funny. All you got to do is plant and water the seeds and watch God give the increase. Besides, how do you know if they're convertible? Huh? Duh, I'm out of gas. I'm outie.
We're here with the original PK, which that stands for Preacher's Kid, in case you were not in the know. But James Axel, the first time I saw him at an open mic, and he got up there with the sweetest, most humble, oh, you know, I'm just doing my thing and just sharing. So I was expecting anything but being utterly blown away. And from that time on, every single time I have seen him, I was like, this guy is the truth. And I had to bring him onto the show and get him to share some spoken word with us. So PK, welcome to the show.
Thank you
James
for having
Axel.
me. I appreciate the love. It's a blessing to be here.
Listen to you with all that good attitude business. Now, you actually have a huge blessing that you're getting to celebrate now, which is being able to share your work, because you got a brand new CD that you just released. In fact, we might happen to have it here.
Yes, so that's the CD. It came out about 2 weeks ago, entitled PK Perspective. And
that's you and your daddy.
Yeah, that's the throwback pic right there.
Oh my gosh, so cute.
Yeah, I had to dig deep in the archives for that one, but I'm excited about it.
Tell me about this CD. Tell me, like, what's the stuff that's on it? What was the motivation for what you chose to put on it and put it together?
Okay, so PK Perspective, like you already said, it stands for Preacher's Kid. And the motivation behind this project was just growing up in that environment. And so at first, that's all I knew, and it was a beautiful thing. I mean, my earliest childhood memories are going to church, and then as soon as church is over, us living directly above the church.
Wow.
And I loved
Immersion.
it. Yes, and it was like being in this Christian bubble. And it's all I knew. I loved it until about middle school.
And then the bubble popped.
Yes, the peer pressure bubble popped and wanting to fit in and do what everyone else was doing. And so then all these questions started to pop up like, okay, why can't I watch Rap City? Or, or why can't I go to this party? And why can't I do that? And why can't I watch this movie? And so all of a sudden I found myself hating the only thing that I knew.
Oh, wow.
And going in the completely opposite direction. And I'll never forget one time we were playing kind of Name That Tune. And my friends, they were singing this Dr. Dre and Snoop song, and I had no idea who it was. And at that moment, I was like, you know what? I'm really missing out on life.
Right, I got to catch up.
Right, and so this just chronicles that, you know, my plight of trying to fit in and trying to be who other people thought I should be at that time, and then coming to the realization that my life was hidden in Jesus Christ, and it wasn't until I returned back to Him that I found out my true purpose and why I was here.
So how did you go through this cycle? You started off in the church.
Right.
And then the middle school bubble pops.
Right.
You want to get back into, you know, being around people your own age, more of what the world around you was into.
Right.
How did you end up coming back full circle?
Well, you know what? The beautiful thing about it is that even though I turned my back on God, He had never turned His back on me. And just like a loving father, He let me go and make my decisions.
That free will get you every time.
Exactly. And I got tired of hitting my head up against the brick wall. And I came to the realization that, you know what? I'm searching for happiness. I'm searching for love. I'm searching for acceptance. And I had it the whole time. You know, and so, and the beautiful thing also was my parents, you know, they were really, they were imperfect like all parents are, but they were model parents. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better mom. I couldn't ask for a better dad. And just seeing them so sincere, you know, I mean, those are the people that changed my diaper. Those are the people that when I couldn't talk, they were trying to figure out what was wrong with me. And I just walked away from all of that. And I just had that aha moment that, you know what, I need to get back into church and get back with God.
Nice. So how do your parents feel now about this work and this performing that you're doing and coming back around?
Oh, it's funny. I think my mom is selling more CDs than I am. She's telling everybody about it. And my dad, he's the strong, silent type, but he's also proud. Yeah, exactly. He sent me a few messages, text messages, letting me know he was proud. So I'm just blessed. I'm in a good place right now.
Now, how do people, I mean, because you don't just perform in churches. You're out in the clubs and at open mics. I mean, how do people respond? Because the bulk of your work is focused around a more spiritual message.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I would say about 2 years ago, I pretty much exclusively did poetry in churches. And I really got convicted. I was like, I'm preaching to the choir in a sense. And I was like, you know what? There's this whole scene that I'm totally unaware of. There's so many dynamic poets in central Pennsylvania, York, Harrisburg, Lancaster, and I didn't know any of them. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to pull out my iPhone, see what the next event is, and just show up. And through that, I was able to meet you and people like Tiger Rhodes and people like Keith Snow that have just been awesome and so accepting. And I'm not going to lie, I was super nervous the first time I got up there. But I found that, first of all, the quality of the poetry there was greater than what I had been used to. And so that was humbling, you know, because you go in.
When you're the only poet and people might be gathered around a topic, but there's only a few people doing poetry. And then all of a sudden you're out there with all the people doing poetry.
Exactly. And it was just so humbling to be in that environment and to receive love and encouragement and support from people like you. So I was nervous, but I got over it real quick, and I love it now.
How did you get started actually writing poetry?
Wow.
Did you start doing that when you were younger, or was that something you came to later?
I did. I wrote it when I was younger, and it wasn't the cool thing in middle school and high school. So I tried to be a rapper, and my rap name was The Savage, and I was terrible.
Savage.
I was the worst rapper, so I was like, you know what? I kind of put it all on the shelf, and I guess like a lot of people, I met this girl, and I blew it. Can we redo that part? Man.
Yep.
But I found myself struggling for the words right there. But yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready.
So when you I'm scratching my nose itching, all kinds of things. Okay. All right. So how did you get started actually writing the poetry? Was it something that you were doing when you were younger, or was it something that as you came back to the church and you were looking for a way to express, you started doing then?
Right. Well, actually, it was a gift that, God had given me. And I used to write a long time ago as a child. And then I tried to be a rapper, try to be cool and do what everyone else was doing.
Doing the rap thing.
Yeah, and that didn't work out. A gangster rapper from the suburbs didn't work out.
It has been tried. It has been tried, though.
Yes. So I put it on the shelf for a long time. I met a girl. She was really involved in poetry, and she used to write me poems. And so it kind of encouraged me. I was like, you know what? I can do that. So I surprised her one day, wrote her a poem. And from that, I just kept on writing, continued writing. So here I am. I say about 2 years ago, though, is actually when I really started to take it seriously and pursue it.
And your memory is amazing because there was no teleprompter. That was strictly from the head. How do you commit pieces of such length? I mean, even for a spoken word performer, your pieces are a little bit longer and more developed, more complicated in storytelling than a typical spoken word piece.
Right. So the thing is, my job is, how can I word this without getting in trouble? It can be monotonous at times. And so I have a lot of time for creativity, and it's during those moments where I'm coming up with the poetry, and then I can't write it down until a break. So I have to constantly jot it over and over again in my head until I'm able to jot it down. And so that's pretty much how I'm able to memorize such lengthy pieces.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So where do you see yourself going with this? What is the point of all the poetry for you?
I really believe that it's bigger than poetry. And what I mean by that is it's about relationships. It's about meeting people, people that are passionate about the arts, people that are passionate about their relationship with God, people that are just passionate. I mean, that's such a rare thing these days. You find so many people that can be indifferent about life and be cynical about the situations that they're in. And so what I want to do is first and foremost meet and greet people, build relationships, and then also I want to introduce my worldview or reintroduce my worldview and my faith in Jesus Christ to people that may not have heard about it or may think they know what it's all about. Right. You know, sometimes Christianity, we've done things in the past, unfortunately, that have given us a bad rap. And sometimes it's true. People think that the preacher is exclusively about money, that everybody's a hypocrite, that the deacon is sneaking and creeping, and it's not always that way. And unfortunately, people come in broken and hurt and looking for hope, and they come across these types of people and they leave the church and they never return. And so what I'm trying to do is offer my perspective, offer my hope, my faith in Jesus Christ, and let people know, hey, you know, I'm sorry you had to experience that, but Jesus was perfect. He didn't do that to you. So please don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And the gospel is good news. And so not trying to be on my high horse and preach to people, oh, you're going to hell and this is what's wrong with you and da-da-da-da-da. But hey, I just want to share what I believe. I want to hear what you believe. And let's just do life together.
Yeah. I'm off right there on that TV, like I'm 2 seconds behind. Come on. Yeah. Yes, this is how a lady walks. Come on, y'all. Show them how we walk. Yeah, we gotta show them how we talk. Let's take inventory, sisters. We gotta show them how to live. Show the young people. Come on. For culture, community, and family. Respect yourself. Don't let a man tear you down. Find your place in the world. Let's reach. L-A-D-Y, never go by B-I-T-C-H, not a fem dog or a feline. Got yours, I'ma get mine. About to shine, but not to be conceited in a minute, make a B9. That's the confidence that comes from on here. Modesty is good, but I don't own a pair of knee highs. I'm on this track cause I want women to realize coins get flipped. Sister, you not a D-I. Wanted you to hear me, so I put it in a re-I. You rather have me fall back and throw up the peace sign. Time to rise, get your back off, recline. Let's straighten that out. Cheat, we ain't letting mainstream define our identity, cause only that comes from the divine. We grow, we learn, we know till we get refined and share our testimony, purpose, and our design. Yeah. Come on. This is how a lady walks. This is how a lady walks. Come on. This is how a lady talks. That's how we talk, y'all. We gonna show them what's right, y'all. Show these young people, y'all. Grab a young girl and show her what's up. Let's respect ourselves. Don't let a man take you down. Find your place in the world as you reach for your crown. Ain't about what you got on, but it's about dignity. Walking your role. Come on. My sister, put your head up. I'm saying that you're better than approval from a man. His opinions you settle for. Complimenting cute faces, bodies, making us compete with each other. So we snobby. I'm not against you. I may not agree, but at least tell your daughters about Latifah and Monique. It was way back then, but education can change our mind and our image, so we not degraded. Yeah, come on. We gotta do it. We gotta walk upright. Show the ladies, show the young sisters. Come on. Y'all know what to do. Salute. Where my ladies at? WRCT-TV. Come on, like this. Linda, Diane, Shirley, Arthur, Melissa Harris, Perry, Michelle Obama, Agape Jeter, she loves her mama, and my sisters, Angela Davis and Michaela. I could name so many more, especially the ones who went before us. And you know, yes, sure. Yeah. Ladies first. Lady walk. Let's show these sisters how to walk. All right, my next song is What Is. Listen. What is the strength of my words? If I can't put them into verse. Oh, what is the length of my arm? Oh, if I can give you a sense of calm and peace. What is the good of my work? If I can't make your own soul do a search. Oh, what is the beat of my heart? Oh, if it is broken and torn apart. Oh, what is my life? What is my life? What is my life without you? Yeah. What is the strength of my words? If I have spoken but you haven't heard. Yeah. What is the length of my arms? If I can't reach out to you with a song, a bread, a butter, a water. What is the fruit of my labor? If you can listen and you not feel greater than you were. What is the beat of my heart? If I don't share all my love like my art, my masterpiece. What is my life? What is my life? What is my life without you? Nothing, but everything with you. I am nothing, but I'm everything with you. I'm nothing, but everything with you. What is my life. Nothing, but I'm everything with you. I have nothing, but I'm everything with you. I am nothing, but everything with you. What is my life? What is my life? What is my life? What is my life without you? What is, what is my life? What am I doing? Who am I? I have nothing without you. What is my life? What are the words? What is the length of my arm? What is the good of my song? If you can't feel it, oh, what is my life? 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 Nothing without you, Jesus. What is nothing without you? This is called He Loves Me. It was produced by Magneto 7 and Terrence Hawkins sang this with me. We just gonna get it, come on. The love of God surpasses my knowledge. I can't fathom why. I don't know why He loves me. Love struck, maybe you could say I'm stuck in the rut. Was I bit by a love bug or was I touched? Pierced with an arrow, hit by Cupid, or hypnotized by a potion, right? All them notions is stupid. My heart is skipping beats so much so it's truant. No one's more important than the one I'm pursuing. In this language of love, I'm becoming fluent, flowing like fluid from rain that blew in on buzz. Then flower petals ruin, I blossom. My thinking affects what I'm doing. I actually think where I'm going and how I'm moving. My purpose is renewed. I'm singing in the shower, I'm smiling on a job and people stop and ask me why. I'm so giddy and I feel pretty, oh so pretty, but my name's not Maria, no it's Badia, and I'm agreeing that love swept me off of my feet and keeps sweeping me. The love of God surpasses my knowledge. I can't fathom why He loves. I don't know why He loves me so. Love of God surpasses my knowledge. I can't fathom why. I don't know why, y'all. Come on. Touch. Now no man can pluck me out of his hand. I'm clutched like Mac in a Louis Vuitton bag. Stronger grips than loves you thought you'd always have. The lost loves that stopped being mutual and started keeping tabs. The ones that require 50-50. And the most popular question, come on, I ain't listening. I gotta love now. That's forgiving. He's giving. He's kind. Doesn't envy. And yes, he's fine. But he don't boast about that. He ain't conceited. He's not provoked. He don't be thinking evil. Why dudes be bragging about the loves they think they all possess? My God is love. Not something he just possessed this. Never been a soul to match the matchless. Words can't describe his greatness. He's so fresh. And I'm so blessed to have the best rapper alive. Woo me to eternal life and rap to me with no practice. Yeah. I don't know why He loves me. I don't know why He loves me so. The love of God surpasses my knowledge. I can't fathom why He died for me. The love of God surpasses my knowledge. I can't can't fathom why he rose for me. The love of God surpasses my knowledge. I can't fathom why he lives in me. Yeah, la la la, your love is better, better than life. The love of God surpasses my knowledge. I can't fathom why He loves me. The love of God surpasses my knowledge. I can't fathom why He loves me. The love of God surpasses my knowledge. I can't understand why He loves me. The love of God surpasses my knowledge. I can't fathom why He died for me. The love of God surpasses my knowledge. I can't fathom why He loves me. Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible told me so. Yeah. Thank you so much. Culture Remain, WRCT-TV. Peace.
This first song is off of our latest CD. It is called I Just Melt. It is the title track. In this song, we talk about the fact that men and women each have a superpower. And Carol wrote the first line in this song. It says, how does it go?
He tracked mud across the floor to hand me roses.
Now, we men have a superpower in that we can, at the same time that we are annoying our wives to no end, at the same time we can melt their hearts, and that's a great example. But you women also have a superpower on the other side of that, in that you can look past the mud and choose to see the roses instead. So we hope you enjoy this song.
He tracked mud across the floor to hand me roses. He used bleach when he was washing all our clothes. He put my china in the new dishwasher. He fixed the vacuum cleaner. Now it blows. But every time he tells me, you sure look good today, and that little boy smile comes my way. Oh, I just melt every time he looks at me. I just melt, happy, sad, mad, or angry. Oh, I just melt, even after all these years. I just melt. He embarrassed Santa at my office party. He surprised me with a membership to a gym. He took me shooting for our anniversary. He can't understand why I'm so mad at him. But then he goes and tells me, you sure look good today, and that little boy smile comes my way. And I just melt every time he looks at me. I just melt, happy, sad, mad, or angry. Oh, I just melt, even after all these years. I just melt. look good today. And that little boy's smile comes my way. And I just melt every time he looks at me. I just melt, happy, sad, mad, or angry. I just melt, even after all these years. I just melt. I just melt. I just melt. I just melt like ice cream on a summer day. I just melt like ice cubes he forgot to put away. I just melt, it feels so good that he can still make me feel this way. I just melt. I just melt.
Well, hello, I am Matt.
I am Carol.
And together we are known as Sweet Life. We are a husband and wife team out of Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, formerly of York County, Pennsylvania. And we've been married for just over 21 years, playing music for actually longer than that. We met as musicians and became friends. And after a couple years of friendship, it turned into romance. So here we are 21 years later, performing as Sweet Life. Traveling all of Pennsylvania and Delmarva region for the most part right now. I've gotten a little further as far as Nashville so far. Our music is focused on equipping our listeners to maintain and actually find a healthy relationship with God, others, and themselves. And we have a real heart for married people. If your marriage is going well, we'd like to see it do better. If it's not doing so well, we'd like to see it doing better then too. And that's what our music focuses on. All of the lyrics tend to be about that.
I think we focus on the marriages because we've gone through a lot of different things in our marriage, and we found a lot of things that worked and a lot of things that didn't work. So if we can share those experiences with somebody else and that would help them, I think that is one of our main priorities, is to just share what some of the things that we've been through, the good and the bad.
Well, I started playing guitar back in the mid-'80s and fell in love with it pretty quickly, and always fancied myself as more of a singer and not really on the guitar end. It was more just to support the vocal and the songwriting. But here in the last 10 years or so, I've really fallen in love with this particular instrument and just the whole craft of writing songs and putting our hearts out there on paper and out in the air for people. So it sort of all that sort of all came together around, the mid-'80s for me. And you?
Singing was just something that I always did from a little girl on up, and it was just one of those dreams that you always have when you're little. But after I met you, then it just sort of all fell into place. So that's good.
Well, this next song we're going to do for you is a song off of our second to latest CD, the one that we did just prior to the one we released just a few days ago. It is the title track for that. It is called Love Wears No Disguise, and it is a celebration of marital intimacy in all of its forms.
Naked desire, it's plain to see. Every time you look at me, I already know what's on your mind. Your love wears no disguise. Ba 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 ba. Images of the night before, burning trails where your fingers were. Gold bands reflect the candlelight when your love won't know disguise. And clearly I can see the flame that's burning in your eyes. Every time I look at you, your love wears no disguise. Naked truth, it's so hard to show. It's given me life and it stands last hope. Together we wait for that first sunrise, when love will wear no disguise. And clearly I can see the flame that's burning in your eyes. Every time I look at you, your love wears no disguise. Clearly I can see the flame that's burning in your eyes. Every time I look at you, your love wears no disguise. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I think that the role that when we say that we want to do things that are going to enable our audiences to gain and maintain personal, healthy, happy relationships with God, with others, and with themselves, there's harmony there. God is relational. He didn't make us to just do whatever he said to do and punish us when we didn't. He made us to relate to us because he loves us and because he wants to spend time with us and let us get to know him and just relate. And anytime you do that, you're being like him. But we as humans, because we're twisted and messed up, we don't do that. We do things that are evil, and then we betray each other, and we don't trust each other, and we fight, and it turns into all the things that you see all throughout human history. But when we invite him to come in and fix what's wrong inside of us, that will come out then in our relationships with our spouses and with him, and even the harmony that we need inside ourselves to enjoy him and enjoy relationships in life. That's really why we're all here. And that's why it's so important. You can have a great marriage for 50, 60 years, but if you don't have a good relationship with God, then you've missed it. And it's not as good. All right, this last song is also off of the next to latest CD. It is a song that talks about when you're in a relationship that you realize isn't working and isn't healthy, and it's just time to let it go because that's the healthiest thing you can do. Sometimes that really is the answer. It's called Time to Say Goodbye. I'm going to start that over. Sorry, guys. Should I do that whole bit again or just?
The intro's good. You can just go ahead and start with the music.
Great, thank you. This one's all you.
Wake up on another Tuesday. We both know just how it's gonna be. not okay with it today. No, I'm not okay. It's alright if you think I'm crazy. You might just be right to be afraid. I lose control when you're around me. And it's time to say goodbye. It's time to face the truth. There will never be a time for me and you. It's time to say goodbye. It's time to see the light fading into gray. Let's turn and walk away. It's time to say goodbye. To say goodbye. It's time to face the truth. There will never be a time for me and you. It's time to say goodbye. It's time to see the light fading into gray. Let's turn and walk away. I just wanted to show everything that's in my heart, to show you who I am in every song, serenade your soul, but the chase is over now, and it's time to say goodbye. It's time to face the truth. There will never be a time for me and you. It's time to say goodbye. It's time to see the light fading into gray. Let's turn and walk away. It's time to say goodbye.
What can become of a wheelbarrow without a wheel? The V'd arms cannot move a cement mixer, cannot move rocks, but can do something. All seek to return to what once was. What is calming and energizing about this primitive place? I have walked it upright before. I have held the handles with and without the wheel. Only now have I noticed his knees, dragged across stones, lacerated. They weep, too. The switchbacks from Aguas Calientes to Machu Picchu swing back and forth, the heavy pendulum of a former and present time. Stories repeat, brother against brother, divided kingdoms fall, histories, valleys cluttered with the vanquished. On Andes peaks, we wonder not how, but why all is made low. Cathedral of Cusco is the home of all familiar. Like the herds, a sorting from the first to the second shearing occurs. On only one day a year are the grand doors of forgiveness opened. Why arrive on this day? I labor through, arms outstretched, bask in his glorious desire to rebirth me. Someone ought to tell those tattooed, punked out kids in the parking lot that centuries before they donned those spacers, The ear people, that's what the Spaniards called them, with their braided bands the width of a finger and knife-cropped hair, created no guessing game as to who was who. Some wore white wool, other tiny batons, some hung reeds, still others wood bedecked jewels that dragged the lobes as long as a man's hand. Conquistadors aimed their cruelty at the king's scarlet sarclet, obliterated the prince's yellow bandeau. Nearing leaving, rituals of the heart land lightly on mine, like the mountain mist felt in arriving. Linger, chubby-cheeked dancers, perfect pisca sour, spontaneous closing of streets. Remain, hollow-noted flutes, bright-eyed beauty of small children. Men in the muck of streets working with hands. Thick black tresses, patterned bright dresses. Stay, gossiping women of 3, echoing secrets all my way home. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. We are so glad that we had you with us here on the corner of Culture and Maine, York's weekly cultural showcase. We'll be back again next week with more great artist profiles, behind-the-scenes footage, and visits out into the community of York and Adams County, seeing what's going on with the art scenes of poetry, music, dance, and theater. But in the meantime, please make sure you catch up on all our back episodes. Check us out on YouTube at White Rose Community TV. Check us out on Facebook, on Twitter. Send us your emails at cultureandmaine@gmail.com or visit us at wrct.tv. We want to hear your videos. We want to hear your opinions, your suggestions, and your show ideas. But mostly, we want to help entertain you and show you what a great community you are a part of. We're really glad that you chose to let us into your home, and we're really excited to bring you more fabulous art next week. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you again soon on the corner of Culture and Maine.
I'm really excited about this. I love the atmosphere. I just want to know more about it.
I see it evolving, changing, growing, and I like it.
It's fleeting. Once it happens, once a song comes out, once a poem comes out, it'll never come out